Circle centers for Cousins, a shot, and he scores. Dylan Cousins makes it 3-0 Lethbridge.
Lyram gonna take it coast to coast on a backhand, scores!
To the blue line, Vandalese, that effort, tip, scores! Carson Folk is Mr. Teddy Bear! A deflection.
He scores! It's over! It's over! Game 7, overtime, hero!
Hi, hello, and welcome to the WHL Podcast. I am Zach Hodder, your host and the manager of player development for the Western Hockey League. Let's jump into the news and notes for September. I can't believe I'm saying that. Where did summer go? September 2nd, 2020. Spokane Chiefs head coach Manny Viveiros has been named the first head coach of the Henderson Silver Knights, the AHL affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights. Viveiros, who played 21 seasons of professional hockey, came to the Chiefs after spending the 2018-19 season as an assistant coach with the Edmonton Oilers, and before that he spent 2 years as the head coach of the Swift Current Broncos, where he won the WHL Coach of the Year and a WHL Championship in 2018. The Chiefs went 41-18-4-1, which was the fourth best record among all WHL clubs last season. The Chiefs wasted no time finding Viveiros' replacement, naming assistant coach Adam Maglio as the 14th head coach in Chiefs history. The 2019-20 season was Maglio's first in the Western Hockey League after spending the previous 4 seasons with the Prince George Spruce Kings of the BCHL. In 2 seasons as head coach of the Spruce Kings, Maglio compiled a record of 72 wins, 30 losses, and 4 ties, as well as winning the 2019 BCHL Championship. Maglio at 34 will be the youngest head coach in the Western Hockey League next season. That's it for the news and notes. For everything WHL, check out our Twitter feed at the WHL, and of course the website, WHL.ca. I am here with the very first ever head coach of the Henderson Silver Knights, the AHL affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights, Manny Viveiros, also known as Manny. Manny, how are you doing? Congratulations.
I'm doing fine, Zach. Thanks for having me on.
Let's start with Henderson. How did this come to be, and why did you think that this was the best move for you in your career?
You know, Zach, you always want to get to the highest level, and that's certainly always been my goal as a coach or as a player. And I had an opportunity, and Kelly McCrimmon had called me roughly about 2 months ago and asked if I'd be interested in the head coaching position. So I said, absolutely. And we just started some dialogue and with a couple conversations, and then, a little bit more extensive interview. And I knew Crim from my Western Hockey League days when I was a Swift Current at the GM meetings and the governor meetings, and got to know him a little bit. And, just very fortunate that it came to fruition that I was able to sign with them. And, looking at their organization, how Kelly and George McPhee and that whole entire Vegas Knights organization, how they run things, they're one of the best in the league, if not the best at how they do things. And just look at their record over the, 3 years they've been in the league and what they've done in such a short period of time. Yeah,
it's been pretty incredible. And I mean, they're, again, a favorite for the Cup. They're beating up on my Canucks right now. I'm not really enjoying that, but we're going to get back tonight. When we're looking at the difference between coaching professional hockey and coaching in the Western Hockey League, what is it like for you? And I don't know if you've had these conversations yet with Vegas, but what are the expectations on an AHL head coach? Are you expected to run the systems that they've asked you to run so that when your players go up, they know exactly what they need to do? Or is it up to you to develop the system and the way that you want your players to play when they're in Henderson with you?
Oh, great question, Zach. I think probably one of the biggest fits, one of the reasons I think also that, it's going to be such a good fit here in Henderson is that the style of play that my teams have played, whether it was in Swift Current or in Spokane, are very similar to how Vegas plays the game right now. So obviously we're going to try to emulate as much as possible as we can what the Vegas Golden Knights do as far as the verbiage, the systems. So when that transition from a player gets called up to the Golden Knights, that there's going to be a seamless transition for them. So, I'm going to have a green light to tweak a couple things in certain areas, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty well the same, and which, I'm really excited about because we do play very similar styles.
Well, that's great to hear. And you're going to have a ton of Western Hockey League players probably on that Henderson team. The Vegas Golden Knights currently 12 WHL players on their roster. And you talked about Swift Current in there. And Swift was your first head coaching job in the Western Hockey League after an extensive pro career in Europe. mainly in Austria, and then an extensive pro coaching career in Europe, also mostly in Austria. You finished off in Germany before you made the transition to Swift Current. So I guess the question there is, what's the difference between coaching professional hockey in Europe to transitioning to a Western Hockey League team? How are you able to make that adjustment so fluidly and so successfully like you did?
You know what, Zach? I've had that question before. I just think for me and my wife, it wasn't a difficult transition. Obviously, the age group was a little bit different, but I had a son, went through the Western Hockey League, played in Portland for 4 years. I've understood what he had to go through. I played in the league a long time ago, albeit a different type of, era, but still having the idea of what, these kids have to go through. And it was so valuable having a son that played recently in the Western Hockey League and, talking to him every day, how it was as far as travel, schooling, and everything else, helped that transition for me. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing for anything was just being yourself, and allowing the kids and the players and building a relationship with those guys, just being yourself, made that transition very simple.
When it comes to coaching, what is your coaching philosophy?
One of the things, for instance, my coaching philosophy is very simple. Being yourself every day, coming to the rink, whether you have a good night, bad night before, that the kids coming in the next day understand that you're going to get the same from your coaching staff every day. And if you're not having a great night the night before, we're going to come in, we're going to, talk about it, we're going to figure it out, we're going to find a solution, and then we're going to go forward from that. And that's a real important for me, is that culture that the management and the coaching staff develop within the dressing room, that these kids come in and they feel like they can come in and have a safe environment every single day where they don't have to be scared.
And in your 2 years, you obviously developed that culture in Swift Current. You guys won the 2018 WHL Championship, and yourself, you were named the WHL Coach of the Year before you went to the Edmonton Oilers. Now, you only spent one season with the Oilers and the organization, but what was that like for you the first time coming back? You played in the NHL as well, but on the coaching side, what did you learn and what did you take away during that one season with the Oilers?
Well, that experience was incredible. Having an opportunity to work with players seeing players every single day, like Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, these type of players that what it takes for them every single day to play at that level in National Hockey, not only on the ice, but what they have to do off the ice to take care of themselves. And that was something for me was so invaluable. When I went back to Spokane this past season, I was able to, tell these guys and show these guys that this is what these guys do every single day. And there's a reason why they're the best players in the world.
Going back to the Spokane Chiefs and coming back to the Western Hockey League, and one of the coaches that you had this past season was recently named the head coach, successor, I guess I should say, Adam Maglio, who was a very successful coach in the BCHL, but he has no playing experience in the Western Hockey League, no coaching experience in the Western Hockey League, and he'll be the youngest head coach next year in the WHL. So as a head coach with the experience that you've had, how do you help not just develop the players on your team, but also that coach to get him to where he is now?
Well, Adam, from the day one, we really hit it off. We were really, just from the very first interview and the first conversations that we had, you knew right away he was a bright young man, and plus the success he had his previous year. And I talked to a lot of people about him, and they said, listen, if you get an opportunity to hire this young man, you have to do it. And from the first day that we met or got to work together in Spokane, it was a really good fit. We really liked how we worked together, and he's wonderful. More importantly, he's wonderful in how he treats the kids also too. Very thorough, very prepared. He works hard with the kids. He puts in the hours, and it was a lot of fun. For us, it didn't ever seem like it was work to us. We came in every day, we had fun, we did our work, and we enjoyed our time, every day in the office together, and had so fortunate to have an excellent staff. And he's going to be excellent. I know, talking with Scott Carter and Bobby Brett, during this whole process, and they were asking me, do you think Adam is ready? I said, absolutely. I said, I think you got this kid here. You got to hire him. He's going to be a really good head coach in Spokane. And you know what? You may not have him only for a couple of years, because I think he's got the professional hockey written all over him.
Well, Spokane's pretty used to having coaches for only a couple of years right now. You talk about having patience and treating people with respect and working together, and how much fun it makes every day and how quick the days go by. But I'm sure in your career, you've had to coach some players that have not been easy to work with. and have made some days coming to the rink a little bit more tougher than you've expected. But has there been a player that you've had, whether it's over in Europe or here in the Western Hockey League, that you started off and you said, oh boy, this kid is going to be just a project. He's going to be the reason I can't sleep at night. And then that player ended up turning into, a professional player or really exceeded the expectations that you had for him at the beginning of the season?
You know what, Zach, I won't mention any names in specifics, but there's always seems to be sometimes a player, maybe one every year or every couple of years. I've been very fortunate in my career having great kids. But the way I look at it, a lot of the time coaching, especially in junior hockey, is a lot of it's parenting in some ways. And it's not always easy, but, a lot of times you have to say things and that we're going to help your children or your players sometimes. And they may not always want to hear what you have to say, but you have to tell them. And I think a lot of it too is just building that. Again, once you build that trust and they understand that you're there to support them, you have their backs, and you can do everything you possibly can to help them succeed, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. Then after that, it's always the relationships and working relationships are very easy. So that's a philosophy that I had to my staff, and we had that last year in Spokane and worked very well for us. But to single out any one person in particular, I really can't because, you're always going to have a little bit of trials and tribulations every time you have a group of players at around 24, 25 players in a group. But for the most part, I've been really lucky and blessed that I have great kids.
So my last question for you, as a coach, you don't get most of the time to pick the players that are going to be on the team. That's the GM and the scouts. But when you get to training camp, it's up to you to select the team from the players that they brought for you. So when you get to training camp and you're seeing your new crop of players, what are you looking for a player that's going to be on your team? What are the characteristics of that player, and what do players need to do to catch your eye if they're trying out for, let's say, next season Henderson or in the previous seasons in the Western Hockey League?
Well, it's a really good question, Zach. In Swift Current, I was very fortunate enough that we had a team that was, the teams that we wanted to, the way style we wanted to play, and we were looking for those types of players. Spokane was a organization that played that similar style also too, so they had a lot of players that type of style. And going forward next year in Henderson, it's the same way that Vegas has drafted their kids. They want to play a very fast and competitive and a hard type of style of hockey. And I think for me, the biggest thing is I look at their characters. Number one for me is how are these guys? Are they good people? Do they handle adversity well? Do they take care of them off the ice? Are they good in school? Have they been good in school? Or they basically put the work while they're in school? Their compete level for me is really important, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be skill, but if these kids compete hard every single day, a lot of times that compete will overcome a lot of skill deficiencies and that type of area. And those are the three very important things for me. And if you have that in place in a player, I think you can do a lot with that player, and then it's the coaching staff and organization to help develop their skill after that going forward.
Well, Manny, what if you don't have a lot of compete, but you're really funny in the dressing room? Would you take that player?
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. I would have made your teams then.
Absolutely. Again, you've got to allow these players, these kids, your team to express themselves. You got to have fun while you're at the rink. You got to have fun while you're in the dressing room. And there's a time to go to work also too, but at the same time though, if you see everybody having a smile while they're at work every day or in the dressing room, there's something's right here. So it's going on. That's going to happen. That's really good. So that's really important too. So no, it's important to come to the rink and laughing every single day.
Well, I hope that you're able to have that next year in Henderson. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Wish you all the best. I don't know when the season's going to start, but once it does, hope you hit the ground running.
Zach, appreciate the time. It's always awesome. And call me anytime throughout next year, please.
Love it. Thank you again, Manny.
Celebration is underway here in Swift Current.
Enjoy Swift Current. Your Broncos are Western Hockey League champions.
Gonsalves recovering left circle. Carries back up high and dropping it for Christiansen. Jukes his way left side. He scores! 4-on-4 goal for Jake Christiansen.
I'm here with former Everett Silvertips defenseman, now Columbus Blue Jacket prospect, Jake Christiansen. Jake, how has your summer been so far?
It's been good. Obviously a long one. We've never had a summer this long. Every year I've played for Everett, we've had a pretty good playoff run. So yeah, it's been a long one, but training's been good, and I'm happy that I get an opportunity to train a lot.
So how quickly were you able to get back in the gym and get back on the ice after the season ended?
There was a month of no ice, kind of, when everything was really locked down here. I'm in Vancouver, and but I've got a home gym. I'm really lucky to have that. So I got to work out a lot, and my trainer sent me a program and stuff. So I didn't miss out on that, but I wasn't on the ice for the first month.
Hey, you're back on the ice pretty quick. You're getting ready for training camp. Again, last season you actually started in the American Hockey League. You got to play 9 games with the Stockton Heat before they reassigned you to Everett. What was that like for you, and where was your confidence at when you had that meeting with Stockton and they said, we're going to send you back?
Yeah, obviously, I learned a lot in my time in Stockton, a lot from the coaches and players. And so when I came back, I just knew that it was kind of my last shot coming as a 20-year-old, and I had to give it my all. So I was like super excited, and I was thankful for the opportunity I had with Stockton and to learn and grow my game. Coming back to Everett, I was super excited to not only win a championship but have a good season as well. So I was coming back kind of with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder.
Well, you came back and you pretty much dominated the entire league. You had 22 goals in 38 games as a defenseman, which is almost unheard of. And you finished with 50 points. I guess what did you learn during those 9 pro games that you said, when I get back to the Western Hockey League, this is what I'm going to focus on so that when I get my opportunity next season, I'm going to be here full time?
Yeah, I think that obviously I grew my skills when I was there just because of a faster game and the stronger players. But I think it was more of a mindset thing, just learning from the pros that are there and just how they go about every day and how they attack their goals was kind of the biggest thing for me. And so just coming back with that mindset that I learned from them was the biggest thing. I
mean, you came back, you go from being the youngest guy on the team in Stockton to the oldest guy on the team in Everett. What did you feel like when you walked back into that dressing room and you go from playing with 38-year-old men to, a 16-year-old who's still trying to figure it out? And how did you make that transition from learning to leading quickly?
Yeah, it was different, obviously, but again, I learned from the leaders in Stockton. They were really great with me, and they're obviously amazing leaders because they've been there for a long time, and they're some long-time pro players. So coming back to Everett, I was kind of excited to be able to have an impact on the younger guys and just teach them some of the things that I was taught in Stockton. And so coming back, it was nice to see the boys again because I hadn't seen them since training camp, but a lot of familiar faces, obviously. I don't think there was anybody new on the team from when I left. So it was nice to come back and see the guys. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, your impact was felt immediately around the league. You immediately became a guy that every other team had to game plan against, and that got NHL teams looking at you. When it came time to sign that first contract, first of all, what was it like just to be offered an NHL contract? And then the second part of that is, why did you decide to sign with the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Yeah, obviously it's been like a lifetime goal for me, and I've been dreaming about it forever. So it was exciting when I got that opportunity to sign a contract. Why Columbus? I just think that I have a good opportunity there, and my meetings went well with their scouting staff and everybody involved in the organization. So it felt right. Now I'm excited to get going there.
As we're getting ready for next season, as you're preparing for next season with that pro experience, plus how well you excelled when you came back to the Western League last year, what's the biggest thing you're trying to work on this summer to get you prepared for a full professional season next year?
Yeah, obviously with the long summer, it's almost a little bit of an advantage going into my first pro season. I get some time to put on some weight, get quicker, and I guess I have a lot of time to just do everything that I think that I need to work on that I learned in Stockton. So there's some little things in the game that I think that I needed to improve on. And then there's also, I want to keep improving on the things that I do well because that's what got me there. So long summer, I have a lot of time to do it, but I haven't wasted any time. So I'm excited.
Oh, it's good to hear. And talking about development and making the most of the time you have, your only year of midget hockey, you only played 4 games. So, you're a 5th round pick in the Bantam draft. You play 4 games of BC Major Midget, and then you make the Everett Silvertips at 16 years old. So what happened that year, and what did you do to prepare yourself to come into training camp and win a roster spot once the season started?
Coming to Everett the first time, obviously it was pretty surreal. First time you're really in a big rink because back home, it's not like you get fans in minor hockey. But so I was really excited and just kind of overwhelmed, but really excited for the opportunity. And I think I just took day by day. And we had our coach that year was Kevin Constantine, so it was pretty detail oriented. So I was really studying the game and working really hard to be the best I could every day, and not really looking past that, because you couldn't, because if you did, it would have been a tough day for you. So I was, I think just taking it day by day really helped me.
You had some players on that team, specifically Noah Jewelson, another defenseman who was a first-round pick of Montreal. Were you able to learn from him, and what did he provide to you that first season as guidance as you continue along your path?
I actually lived with Noah for the first couple months when I was in Everett, so it was really nice to get to know him, and I still have a really good relationship with him. I mean, I talk to him every day, and I see him often because he's here. He's a Lower Mainland boy, so I learned a lot from him when I was there, living with him as well. He was a pro before he got there, so he's a really good guy, and I'm happy to be able to call him my friend.
Just to touch on again a little bit more of the success that you've had during your time in Everett, obviously some very good teams, but what was the WHL Championship like for you? Unfortunately, you guys lost to Swift Current, but what do you think it did for your development, being able to play in such important games and such high-level competition games?
It was always a goal of ours to win that. Unfortunately, we lost in the finals, but it was a good experience. I mean, we had a good group. I got to know those guys really well, and flying to Swift Current and back was pretty fun. The atmosphere there was unbelievable. Same with Everett. So just getting there, I think that it would have really helped in this year to come if the playoffs were to have panned out. But I think I gained a lot of experience, and I was able to bring that with me and learn from it. I learned a lot in that playoff run, and hopefully I can bring that experience with me to the next level. Okay,
the serious questions are done. Now it's time for the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of Everett, which is an amazing rink to play in, where's your favorite place to play?
Outside of Everett, I liked playing Kelowna. We go there every summer, so it's just a nice place. It's kind of refreshing to be there, and they also have a great fan base, so I like playing there. Obviously, it's kind of a love-hate thing with Seattle, but it was awesome to go there as well, just because it's going to be a good game and it's going to be loud.
Yeah, Seattle's got a great building, especially on Tuesday nights. Who's your least favorite player to play against?
Oh, that's tough. It probably came early in my career because I wasn't playing much, and we played Barzell 10 times, so that was tough for me as a young guy. But yeah, I gotta say him.
Who was your favorite teammate you played with?
Oh, that's tough.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if I can answer that. I've played with a lot of great teammates that I have a really good relationship with still, so I think I'll get some heat if I say that.
It's a very good political answer. And then for you next season, what are your goals?
My goals next season, I obviously going to training camp. I want to take it as far as I can. So just training in the summer to get that myself ready for as much as I can accomplish personally. And so I just want to have a really good season and play to the best of my abilities.
Hey, that's what I love to hear. Well, Jake, thanks for taking time out of your day to do this. Hope you have a great rest of your summer, and best of luck for next season.
Thank you very much.
Hands on. Rybinski lost his stick cross ice. Christiansen score! Jake Christiansen's second goal of the game, and the route is on in downtown Everett.
Come 2-on-1. Hallberger walks to Burke. Backhand stopped by Thompson. What a save. The puck's loose, and then the Wheat Kings will play it high.
Well, I'm here with Vegas Golden Knights prospect, former Brandon Wheat King, former Brock University goaltender, Logan Thompson. He is still in Vegas right now. How are you liking the heat?
It's a lot different than back home, but nothing can beat this heat. Really excited to be here and just enjoying my time while I'm here.
How long have you been in Vegas so far?
I was a part of the Phase 3 roster, so I've been here for about a month and a little bit. So I got to skate with some of the guys here and be a part of the training camp, and then the team took off and I stayed here.
What was that like when, I'm assuming, Kelly gave you the call and said, hey, we want you to come to the Phase 3 training camp, help our guys get ready for the start of the NHL playoffs?
It was super exciting. Obviously, when I got that call, it was just a dream come true. Every kid, dreams of signing an NHL contract. So I was just happy to get that offer and to be a part of the Phase 3, was just something special, seeing all the guys and how great a shape they are and how intense they were getting ready for playoffs. It was awesome, and I just kind of took it all in, and seeing where they're at's a whole other level. So you gotta kind of match it and get up there if you want to play in the NHL. When
you talk about that whole other level, can you describe to me what exactly you mean by that? What is that next level, that NHL level, compared to the AHL or even the ECHL?
Well, just their work ethic. They're pros on and off the ice. Every practice. They're doing it 100%. They're getting ready to go, try and win a Stanley Cup. So it was just, how intense they are, how serious they take it. It's, you really got to match it, off ice. everyone's in great shape. Everyone stayed in great shape, especially during, a quarantine with COVID going around. So they took it really serious, and, it's their job, and, they were, complete pros, and you really have to, it's not easy to make the NHL, and you got a long road ahead of you to get up there.
So you stayed down there, you got to see the way everybody trains, you got to be around all those professionals, the NHL guys that have, some of them have been in the league for 10, 12 years. What are you doing in Vegas right now? What's your training schedule look like? How often you're on the ice, and just what are you doing for fun down there?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys here, that stayed behind. So, we work out Monday to Friday, 3 hours a day. And then, we'll try to get on the ice as much as we can. We have the ice here, but with 3 guys, we're kind of limited to what we can do. So we'll try to get on ice 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how our legs feel. We get bagged pretty good down here. So, but yeah, and then obviously, not going out or anything right now, just the world's still kind of a messy place with COVID, but no, just kind of soaking up the sun, hanging by the pool, and just hanging out at home and catching some Netflix.
You're just enjoying your summer, having a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Making the best of it I can.
Well, let's turn back a little bit here. The 1 year you spent in the AHL, you were the second team rookie, one of the top goalies in the AJ despite your age, and then you make the jump to the Western Hockey League. What was that jump like for you, and did you ever envision yourself being in the situation you're in right now?
Well, I can tell you when I was, 17 and, I don't think I was mentally ready to play in the WHL. And I think that's a big reason why Kelly McCrimmon sent me down to the AJ. So if you told me back then that, I'd probably sign an NHL contract, I'd say there's no way, I got to make the WHL first. But, I was just going down to the AJ. I loved my time at Grand Prairie, and, I got a lot of games in. I think I matured as a person and a goalie. And I think that's what helped me take the next step to the Brandon Wheat Kings, and they were, a good team, a really good team my first 2 years there. And, they really competitive, and they expected a lot out of their guys, maturity and on the ice. So I think that's kind of what helped my, my 17-year-old year, 18-year-old year coming back to the Wheat Kings, just trying to act more like a pro. And, and we were a championship team, wanted to be a part of that team and didn't want to leave again. So I want to be a part of a very special group of guys. I mean,
you look at your stats in the Western League, 23 games, 40 games, 55 games. That's what you want to see from a goaltender, especially because goaltenders develop, at a slower pace than most other players because it's such a difficult mentally position to play and technical position to play. But when you came into your last year, did you know that you wanted to go play pro hockey, or did you feel like I'm going to go to Brock University and get my 4 years and then leave hockey with a degree, or go try to play pro after that?
I've always wanted to play pro. I mean, obviously, we were a younger team, rebuilding team, but I wanted to stay in Brandon, and obviously I wanted to go pro, and things just didn't really go my way. I think I can speak for most kids in the WHL. I think every kid wants to go pro. Things didn't go my way. Didn't really get any contract offers. Went to an invite with the Washington Capitals. Brock was always an option for me for school. They gave me the luxury of, okay, try to go pro, but we'll be here if nothing works out. And it didn't. So I decided to go to Brock. Coach there, Marty Williamson, and the goalie coach, they were great. They really helped me develop, let me play a lot of minutes, and they knew I still wanted to go pro. So they just said, come here, work hard, and we'll try and get you where you want to be. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't plan on staying my 4 years at Brock. If I didn't really have any pro opportunities, I would have loved it there. But yeah, as soon as opportunity came, they were really understanding, and they were okay with me leaving, and they were just happy for me. And I really appreciated them and my time there.
Well, I mean, you did a lot for them in your one season there. You were the rookie of the year for the OUA and the goaltender of the year for the OUA. So you definitely met your end of the bargain, and they obviously met theirs, because at the end of that season, you went and played 8 games on the coast and 1 game in the AHL. And then last season, you spent the entire year in the ECHL. The coast, it's a tough league to play in. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of players switching teams. It's a very fluid league where guys are coming up and going down all the time. For yourself, how did you prepare every game to play your best when it is such a difficult league to play in?
Yeah, I think the WHL kind of helped me with that. And obviously leaving Brock and playing 8 games in Adirondack the year before kind of got me prepared to what to expect. I think it's similar to, when I was played in Brandon, a lot of road trips, there isn't really teams close by. So that was pretty comparable. I was used to the bus trips, the road legs. So there wasn't much of a step there for me. But it's just it is definitely a tough league. You got a bunch of guys going up and down, and super competitive, and there's no goalie coach down on the East Coast, so you kind of just you and your goalie partner gotta work and talk together and come up with drills. Obviously, being under a Hershey contract last year, I had some feedback, but you don't get the goalie coaching you do every day in the WHL or even the CIS. Just try to be a pro and push yourself every day.
You're obviously under contract with the Golden Knights. When Kelly called you, did you know that you had that opportunity, or was it something that came just out of the blue and you were like, oh my goodness, I am absolutely going to take advantage of this?
Me and my agent were talking. I think he would never really tell me. He said there's some interest from teams out there. And, as soon as I got that call from, seeing Kelly's name and my agent was telling me, I was, super happy and, couldn't be more happy. This was always, since I was here at training camp for their very first time, this has always been a place I've wanted to be a part of and, be a part of their organization. So it was a dream come true. Obviously the work's not done yet, but I'm just really happy to be here, and I'm going to try and be here as much as I can and get better every day.
When you look back on your career up to this point, you've had quite the career. I mean, you played in the AJ, the Western League, the AHL, the ECHL, U Sports, and potentially the NHL next year, and you're still super young. What's your favorite hockey memory that you've got to experience?
My favorite hockey memory, being a part of that Wheat King team that won the championship with them. That was also a dream come true. I wasn't the starting goalie or anything like that. My goalie partner Jordan Paperny, but just the memories I made from that year and the relationships I've had with a lot of the players, it's something special, and that's definitely going to live with me forever. I don't think a lot of people can say they won a WHL championship, so that's definitely going to live with me forever.
Well, I certainly can't. Who's been the most difficult player for you to prepare to play against?
Difficult?
Yeah.
That's tough. I played against a lot. I think just, back when I was in the WHL, playing against guys like, Dylan Dubé and Barzell, Braden Point, those small guys, they're just super quick and they can move from side to side. As a goalie, it's a lot of work trying to keep up with those guys. Those are definitely the hardest guys to play against, I think, for sure.
And then outside of the rink, what's your favorite thing to do?
I'm still trying to find some hobbies out here. I'm not the best golfer, so I know golf is pretty big out here, but my golf game is horrendous. So try to get out for some hikes if I can. There's some great spots out here. Obviously, you got to beat the heat a little bit. So you got to be out there a little early. And just as bad as it sounds, maybe playing some video games with some of the guys, it's definitely not what you want to hear, but it definitely keeps you busy and it keeps you in touch with a lot of guys.
Hey, some of those video gamers make a lot of money every year. That's a great career opportunity right now.
It is a great career opportunity, but I think I'll stick with hockey.
Yeah, definitely not golf though, huh?
Yeah, no, not a big golfer.
Logan, thanks so much. Congratulations on an incredible journey so far. I mean, we'll see where it takes you from here moving forward, but enjoy the rest of your summer and best of luck heading into next year.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
That is it for the WHL podcast this week. Thank you to Jake Christiansen and the Everett Silvertips, Manny Viveiros and the Spokane Chiefs and Henderson Silver Knights, and Logan Thompson and the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm Zach Hodder. You can follow me on Twitter at Zach Hodder, and you can follow the WHL, as always, at the WHL. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again next Wednesday.